Hello and welcome to my first ever video of me trying resin. I'm very new to this, so if you're looking to watch an expert, don't watch this one. But equally, if you want to watch someone that's learning and experimenting, then this could be ideal. So first off, yes, I am new to it, and I have been doing experimentation. So far, I've been doing mainly coasters, experimenting with powders and alcohol inks. So this is the sort of thing I've been creating, and where this video is going is I've also been putting some of my photos, because I'm a photographer, drone pilot on the Isle of Man, into resin. I've looked at a lot of YouTube videos and I can't really find anything about putting photos in resin and putting a frame or a border around it. So I've come up with this idea, and just quickly, these are some of the sets I've already made. That one was inspired in support of Ukraine, the yellow and blue. Some of Peel on the Isle of Man, nice blue. I love this one, it's like oranges and golds. Again, it's Peel, but some of the backs, I think the backs are better than the fronts. My aim to try and describe what I'm doing is I've got this photograph, is Laxey wheel, the biggest working water wheel in the world, as it happens. So I've got this mould, it's a high quality mould. I will put a link in the description below. I've printed out the photo and I use Permajet papers, and this particular paper is Luster 310, I think it is. I love that paper, it is my favourite go-to paper. Anyway, I've printed it out in A4, and then I cut it to the size of this mould, which is 25 centimetres long, 15 centimetres high. So today I'm going to mix up some resin, clear resin, and I'm going to fill it probably to about halfway. I've already made sure my base is perfectly level. I'm also, today, I've got this slightly bigger version, and that one I'm going to put a very thin layer, but it is going to be thick enough to actually cover it, of solid colour, and I think I'm going to go with a blue. So there's going to be a thin layer of resin. They're both going to then be left 24 hours to dry. Once they've hardened up, I will then demold this one. And by the way, when I say I'm using decent paper, what I mean about that is that a lot of the YouTube videos say that you've got to seal your photograph. I've actually found with this particular paper, I don't need to seal it, because first ever attempt I made, I sealed a photograph with Mod Podge. What I have done with this photo is I've put Mod Podge in a very, very thin layer on the bottom, and then I've stuck the photo down and left that overnight, with the aim is I don't want the photo to start curling up or lifting or floating. But this is one of the coasters I've made, which is all great, but actually the photo started curling up. I put in the base layer, I waited for about 6 hours, until the base layer was tacky, and then I stuck the photo onto that. And then I waited 24 hours and then I put the clear over the top. But the photo still managed to start to float in certain areas. And in the coaster, it's not a bad thing, it's okay. But I really don't want that to happen on the photo. So I've Mod Podged that down. So carrying on, base layer, probably blue. Then once they're both set, this one will get demolded and placed. Remember, it'll be demolded in here, measured so it's dead central, and then with the same color base layer, obviously, I will pour resin around the outside up to as close as I can to the level that this one will be at. So I'm sure this has been done, but I haven't found it. So that is what this is all about. Me documenting as a non-expert how I progress with my resin. Right, so I've mixed my first batch of clear, freshly filled the cup over this photo, and hopefully it will stay stuck to the base, and it will be of a thickness that is sufficient. Yeah, it might be a little bit thinner than I wanted, but right, so that is poured into there. I can see it's nice and level. There is some air bubbles. Where's my torch? Now, you shouldn't use a torch in silicone molds, but I do. Now, I have learned with one of the other photos that I've done is I do need to be careful with this thing, because you can actually burn the photo through. So now it's a case of, with my glasses on, trying to see if I can see some air bubbles that I can clear by hand. And I've had a last minute change because I sit staring at my colours. I've decided to go, I've chickened out basically. I've gone for a more neutral grey. Anyway, that's now thoroughly mixed. Let's see what happens when I probably pour it out there. And then I have this box which should go over the top, and there we go. So that's it for this particular project for today. So far so good. So it's the next day. I've allowed everything to cure for just under 24 hours. Everything's cured up. Now I'm not going to demold this one because I want the seal to remain, but the one with the picture I'm going to now attempt to demold, and it looks pretty good. So we will break the seal. I'm only wearing soft gloves at the moment so that I don't damage this. So yeah, that looks pretty good, and that will go in there. Now what I'm going to do now is move this back and try and put this on there. 2.6, 2.6, yep, no, 2.6 actually, 2. Outright, still 2.5, still 2.5. Right, so that's central. The main one that's going to have the grey, and I've got a little one for that will be black, and another little one that will be gold. So first case is add a spoonful of the grey, like so. That's it. I'm going to slowly pour this in and see what happens. I'm pretty certain I might have to do it more like that. If I go over the top now, I'm going to be really annoyed with myself. I gotta say, at the moment, that ain't looking half bad, is it? Come on. Right, I'm now going to mix up a little bit of black. Oh, I've never used the black. Now, this is only a tiny little, so I shouldn't need much. That's probably way too much. Like so. Put the grey over there. Now the gold. Yeah, gold. That's it. Right, now let's put some gold in. Quite like that effect. I just wanted to add some accent really. I didn't want to go over the top. And I hope I haven't gone over the top. But at the moment, I'm quite liking that. It's subtle, but it's not just the grey. So, I really do think that's it. I've got to leave it like that. So, where's my box? There's my box. Make sure it's clean inside. and I will put that over the top. Things are looking quite good. I've mixed up about 7 ounces, maybe 8 ounces, I can't remember, of resin, and I'm ready to pour. So I'm trying to get rid of all the bubbles, because when I mix it in this jug, it seems to be a lot more bubbly than if I do it in a plastic container, albeit this is plastic. So I am going to just pour over the top, and hopefully this amount will cover the whole thing. So let's go for it. That looks so smart. Really quite pleased with that. If you look there, it's not actually at the top of the mould, but it's fully covered. Now air bubbles are coming up because I did this a few minutes ago, so I am going to be constantly keeping an eye on this. And obviously at the moment the lighting isn't great because it's dark outside, but in principle that's looking superb. I think at the moment my main problem is going to be these damn air bubbles. Those are bits of dust. I just need to have my hands free to try and resolve. But I don't care if the dust, if it is dust, looks like dust, is on the silver or grey, because you won't see it. Tell you what, trying to control this GoPro while watching it on my iPhone, there's about a 2-second slow-mo delay, and it's complicated. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to cover this up and we will return tomorrow when I demold. But trust me, I will keep checking this over the next hour because I don't want to wake up in the morning to bubbles. I did check it this morning to make sure that it was no air bubbles, but I have not taken it out of the mould yet, so the seal on the mould has not been broken, so you will see what I see. So yeah, so remove the box or the lid, and there is the finished article. And I think, and that is set at the moment, that looks absolutely fantastic. So let's see what it looks like when I take it out the mold. There you go, look. Nice reassuring break as it unsticks from the mold, and there you go, fully released. So let's take it out and see what it looks like. There we go. That's the back. Fairly basic back. You can see a little line there, no air bubbles. I will clean up the sides here. It's still a little bit bendy, but yeah, it's not quite thick enough to stand up on its own, which is one of the things I was hoping for. But I will leave that on a flat surface now it's out the mould. There is very few air bubbles, but nothing that's bad. I will need to tidy up the edges a tiny bit. But all in all, that is superb. Get me alcohol, 99.9% proof. That's quite strong, isn't it? Yeah, that's coming off. I don't know what that was. I'm not sure how often I will do these because it's not the cheapest effect in the world, but it works. And I think my decision to go for the grey was really good. I really like that. You can just see the hints of the gold that I used. But I am chuffed to bits with that. So yeah, I hope you learned something from this. I may well do more in the future and share those. But it works. And again, that is a photo that was not sealed in any way because of using good quality paper. It's a long process. Obviously, first getting the photo in itself, backing for that, then take that one out, put it in here, do the border, and then eventually seal the whole lot. So in effect it's 3 days worth of work, but I think well worth the 3 days. So I'll leave you with that. Thank you very much and goodbye.